Welcome to our professional development presentation, hosted by Richard and Sarah. Today we are going to be speaking to you about the evolution of education, integrating curriculum, from past to present, interdisciplinary to transdisciplinary. The curriculum has changed and developed from the time of the Industrial Revolution in the past to the present 21st century. We will show you how in the past teachers used to work only in a fragmented teaching-learning method within the curriculum, teaching students within single subject areas, while also showing you that although the fragmented model may seem outdated, there is still a place for it within education today. However, to meet the learning needs of students in the 21st century, we need to look at Fogarty's model of integration, as it provides educators with various methods for how to organize curriculum for students that will stimulate critical thinking and intellectual curiosity. Thus, we will explore Fogarty's immersed model of integration to reveal how educators can effectively streamline the curriculum for students to become more engaged while learning more effectively, such as through the principles of STEAM, which shows how even with limited time and within a jam-packed curriculum, the immersed model is a practical approach for delivering 21st century skills. The Australian curriculum is a fairly new document which has been designed as a three-dimensional model for the 21st century. It has 8 learning areas, 7 general capabilities, and 3 cross-curriculum priorities. The learning areas are the key disciplines which are reflective of past curriculums, the individual disciplines taught separately to children through explicit teaching, while the general capabilities and cross-curriculum priorities are there to help in promoting creative and critical thinking skills to prepare students for problem-solving and jobs of the future. To bring the general capabilities and cross-curriculum priorities into the curriculum, Fogarty's models of integration offer 10 different models of curriculum integration to give teachers options of ways to integrate the curriculum which will best suit their classroom or students' needs. In the past, the fragmented model of integrating curriculum was the main model, which is viewed today as the traditional model, which is a teacher-centered curriculum design where the teacher speaks about a topic while the students are listening. The fragmented model is a segmented method of teaching where core subjects are taught independently of one another, resulting in a focused lesson to help students gain detailed expertise on a topic through explicit instruction. This is a characteristic of the Industrial Revolution, in which the educational system was based on at the time, compartmentalized and isolated. Even within the perspective of a specific discipline, knowledge can be divided into comparatively compartmented subjects, presenting the matters of the subject in a dissociated and disconnected fashion. The fragmented model is not something purely of the past, though, that should be removed from the classrooms today. It still has its relevance, especially within lower primary, where students need explicit teaching of certain subjects, such as reading, writing, and mathematics, to learn the basic skills which they can then bring into other disciplines. Unfortunately, the fragmented approach can leave students unable to see the connection between disciplines and how they connect to their world. Thus, the need to use the fragmented model within the curriculum as well as other models, such as the webbed or immersed models, which help to integrate the curriculum's general capabilities. When evaluating the fragmented model of the interdisciplinary or disciplinary approach, it is evident within lower primary years where explicit instruction is still most prevalent that Jean Piaget's theory of the stages of cognitive development is an excellent document in helping educators to know how to best instruct students at specific stages of development. The stages of cognitive development are also fragmented. As in the name, children's cognitive development follows different age stages from birth to adulthood. One of the key features of Piaget's stages of cognitive development, pre-operational stage, which ranges from the ages of 2 to 7, is centration. The idea of centration is that children are only able to focus on one part of a situation at one time. The pre of preoccupational means before, which means that the child is unable to use logic or transform, combine, or separate ideas. The pedagogy utilized when teaching within the interdisciplinary approach is explicit teaching, also known as direct instruction. Although this type of instruction is somewhat under fire these days, the inquiry-based learning strategy is the hot topic for teaching of 21st century skills. Explicit instruction is still one of the best tools in a teacher's arsenal because, as Archer and Hughes state, it is structured, systematic, and effective methodology for teaching academic skills. The essentials of success when using the explicit teaching model are to set clear goals, sharing knowledge and modeling actions, and practice. Setting clear and concise goals sets everyone up for success by letting students know what is expected by the end of the lesson. Once a clear goal has been set, the teacher must share what the students need to know and then model what they need to be able to do. Finally, practice. Everyone says practice makes perfect, and it is the truth. Make sure when using direct instruction to give students plenty of time to practice what you teach, which will help to make every child successful learners. A practical example of explicit teaching is when needing to teach direct, specific skills such as writing a birthday invitation, how to add double digits together in mathematics, or teaching the names and order of the planets in our solar system. Yet, in doing a lesson such as what materials are magnetic, that would be the time for inquiry and experimental methods, definitely not direct instruction.
Looking now at the immersed model from the transdisciplinary approach within Fogarty's model of integration, I will endeavour to explain the concept of integrated studies. Firstly, when discussing the transdisciplinary approach, we are referring to integration beyond the subject areas. This approach sees students develop life skills as they apply their previously learnt skills to a real-life context. Both the interdisciplinary and disciplinary skills lead to a transdisciplinary approach, which is seen as a contemporary mode of learning. In the classroom, this takes place in the form of inquiry, teaching and learning. The immersed model within the transdisciplinary approach is where students are the drivers of their own inquiry, and this spans across and beyond subject areas. When a student is immersed in one area, for example, aviation, they are then constantly making connections and linking to other subject areas to find out about their interest. When evaluating how the immersed model of the transdisciplinary approach is linked with theory, Vygotsky's sociocultural theory can be drawn on, in specific, the zone of proximal development. This underpins key aspects of the immersed model. Vygotsky believed that in order to facilitate lifelong learning, children need to use their existing knowledge and link this with new knowledge. Vygotsky's own immersion in the educational practice resulted in leading a research group known as the Vygotskyan School of Psychology, supporting students as they embark on a learning journey focused on children's own interests, while incidentally learning about various other subject areas that are integrated along the way. In line with Vygotsky's thought process, the inquiry-based learning strategy recognizes and builds on prior knowledge and experience while actively building the development of new knowledge. Fogarty's immersed model is student-centered and can be planned using a sequence of activities: tuning in, finding out, sorting out, going further, making connections, and taking action based on the children's own interests. Through this approach, students are actively involved in constructing their own knowledge during hands-on experiences. Linking also to an immersed model of the transdisciplinary approach as part of the inquiry learning pedagogy are Edward de Bono's 6 thinking hats. These can be used in the classroom to work on a project-based unit of work across subject areas. Students can be split into groups with different focuses or groups with the same focus relating to each of the 6 hats. Using the principles of STEM and STEAM to integrate integrated studies into the school and curriculum, STEM intertwines principles of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics with key skills such as problem solving, collaboration, strategic thinking, and the addition of the arts to connect the disciplines of STEM. The STEM approach is interdisciplinary. Then as transdisciplinary moves beyond the initial blending of disciplines, linking skills and concepts through a real-world context, making connections with school and community. An example of building on students' knowledge and going beyond subject areas in implementing the immersed model from the transdisciplinary approach is building on students' interests on the topic of money during the Year 3 inquiry unit, How Does Money Impact Our Lives and the Lives of Others? In their investigation, the students have planned a market day for the whole school community. Small groups of students are planning to run a stall on this day, selling toys they have made themselves and services to get a better understanding of how money works. The goal of having the students undertake Market Day is for them to use the skills they have learned throughout the inquiry unit while helping them to understand the impact that raising money and giving to charity can have in the wider community. The students must write a sequence of steps to follow to construct items for their stall. They will need to make a list of recycled materials required to bring in from home to build their desired items. Through this experience, the students are learning across various general capabilities such as numeracy by sequencing steps and money management, creativity and critical thinking by evaluating of their plan for their stalls, will it work, or how best could they amend the steps to make it work better, as well as writing instructions. They will also be linking to sustainability in the cross-curriculum priorities through use of recycled materials. This will be an immersive learning experience for students as they channel their own interests throughout this project. In conclusion, there is a place for both the interdisciplinary approach and the fragmented model, as well as the transdisciplinary approach and the immersed model to ensure all aspects of the curriculum are being taught to a high standard in our primary schools. Although the fragmented model is typically associated with the past era, where education was industrialised, it is still a valid model when teaching the numeracy and literacy general capabilities to early primary school students who have significant educational milestones to reach and will therefore benefit from segmented lessons focused explicitly on one subject area. Contrasting this model is the immersed model, which offers a contemporary approach for teachers to build on curriculum integration using the child's interests to generate an immersed sense of learning across and beyond the subject areas while making real-world connections. Using the principles of STEAM, the immersed model is a more practical approach for 21st century learning, where the curriculum is full and time is limited.